Gordon? Kramer?
Yeah.
Madden?
Yes.
Yes. Our Civilly pledge, where we pledge to promote civility by listening, being respectful of others, and acknowledging that we are all striving to support and improve our community. That will to perfect and approve the agenda. Any no changes to the agenda?
No changes.
Have a motion to perfect and approve the agenda? So moved. All right, by Moore, second by Gordon, Farley,
Yes.
Gordon, Kramer,
Yeah.
Matthew,
Yes.
Moore. Next, is citizen speak, so this is the time for, citizens during the meeting. So for those that have signed up tonight, we have the school district up first, we do try to keep it to 3 minutes.
I can be fast, so, no laughing. That probably counted against my 3 minutes. No. The Solon Community School District supports the Golden Blue Community Center for the city of Solon. We all be a great for the whole community. We understand the city has options for funding the project, but we have concerns if you choose tax increment financing or TIF for short. If you do decide to use TIF, you must be clear about what this means for the residents of Solon. When new buildings are constructed or improvements are made, the property becomes worth more. The extra property taxes from the increased value within the urban renewal area go to the city to help pay for projects. That extra tax money is now not available to the school district because it's being used to fund city projects such as the community center. The state does help cover part of the loss to the school district, but not all, and the rest of it falls on taxpayers throughout the Solon community, not just those that live in the city. To maintain the revenue we need for things like staff salaries, buses, and curriculum, the school district's tax rate becomes greater to accommodate the lost tax revenue. Since 2000, according to data from the state, the impact of the tax rate on the school has ranged from 13 to 34 cents for every $1,000 of taxable valuation. Solon taxpayers have previously expressed concerns to the board over proposed increases in that rate that have been a fraction of the impact you may have noted earlier today. There's always concern about tax rates. If the city chooses to use TIF for the project, we look forward to more conversation about ways to keep the impact to local families as small as possible. School board is excited about the community center. At the same time, we have responsibility to be direct and honest, so everyone knows the use of TIF might increase taxes. Thank you. I made it within time?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Buzzer may go off here. And then, up next we have, Jessica.
Wait for my time.
Good.
Okay, hello everyone, I'm Jessica Antino. I am actually a former resident of Solon. I graduated actually with Greg's son, James, in class of 2010. I'm now residing on the east side of the city of Iowa City. I am running for county supervisor. As you might be aware, we are now districted in our supervisory choices, so we get to make an educated choice that fits every single community. Being from Solon originally, going through band, soccer, volleyball, and everything else in between, including working at Ellen Stout's daycare and also working at Baxa's Sutliff. I have a vast different background than maybe the others that are on the ballot. I do want to note that I'm a small business owner. I own two companies that are in Iowa City, but I've also served Solon as well, a construction company and a property management company. I also have a vast background, as I see a couple of my colleagues here today. I run a nonprofit in the Johnson County area as well. My entire resume is long and vast, and it makes me be the ideal candidate for not only Solon residents, but all residents of District 2. I have that open to the public on my website. It's andinoforsupervisor.com. I am running as a Democrat. There might be Democrats in this room, there might be Republicans in this room. I will take a meeting with anyone. I will listen to anyone about any topic, and we can come together on a lot of things to make Solon and all of District 2 very great. So I appreciate the time and effort here today. Tammy, thanks for allowing me to be here and meet with you a few weeks ago as well. And I look forward to hopefully serving you all as Solon residents and Johnson County residents in the future. Thank you. Under 2 minutes.
Is there anybody that didn't get a chance to sign up? Takes us to item 6, consent agenda. So this will be approval of the minutes from March 24th, 2026 regular meeting. People with the bills, treasurer's reports and transfers and building permits that please send out for us. Questions or comments for a motion?
On the list of bills, like it's that. Iowa Association of Municipality Water Member Dues.
Say that again, Greg, please.
It's $1,000 to Iowa Association, I suppose municipalities. It says water member dues.
Yeah, it's a membership we're part of. They provide a lot of training for public works. And it's a dues, and then you get a discounted rate on those trainings as a member. Really, really important
So-
organization.
Money well spent.
Very well spent, yeah.
No, we did, I gotta ask a question.
A motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Kramer, second by Maxon. Bartley? Yes. Gordon? Yeah. Kramer?
Yeah.
Maxon?
Yes.
Marks?
Yes.
I think this is item 7, the fire department report. I don't know better than that.
We're hoping it starts 4. We've been busy, we were seeing rapids in like 4 hours. Just as a side note, but yes. Is my big one out there in their city. So, you know, we continue to stay busy, it'll be probably more of the done unless things come to a grinding halt. But yeah, it goes on.
And it looks like it's that's so dry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still a couple open roster spots.
Yeah, if it's interested, let us know. It's getting harder, because we know I have some ideas and thoughts that maybe would set Johnson County apart from everybody else. We'll run to buy a couple of candidates to see what we think. Hopefully it'll help us.
Thanks, Craig.
Yeah.
Takes us to, I made sheriff's report. I saw that on, he's popping in. Item 9, library report.
I'm Cal again. I'm Sandra Lawrence. I'm president of the board of trustees. And I just wanted to mention that in your packets tonight, you have the year-end report. And a couple of significant things to note is that our library had over 63,000 checkouts the past year. And one other thing we're extremely proud of is we had 465 in-person library programs serving 10,000 plus attendees. So it's been a busy place. If you haven't been there, please stop by. We're getting ready for the summer reading program. Most of you have either participated when you were young, but we've done a really nice job of including adults lately. Last summer, we had over 250 adults participate. But another thing I'm personally proud of is that the teens, we had 121 teens participate in the summer reading program. So, and they read, in case you're interested, 172,000 minutes. So I think when you think of teens and other things they do, we're really working hard to continue to keep kids coming to the library as they grow into those teen years. So I think this report is in your packet, and take a minute to look it over because it's kind of impressive when you think of the size of our building. And I was just there today. Our building will be celebrating 25 years. The new building is in that location for 25 years now. It doesn't seem like it's been 25 years. But we have a really active committee. We will be celebrating several different times during the summer, the 25 years of the building. It looks beautiful. It was well done from the original people. A lot of people had hand in building the building because all of our wood things were all handmade by some of the local craftsmen in the area. So the 25-year committee already was installing a big display in our library case of 25 years with pictures from the very first of the 25 years all the way to present. So you might want to stop in because maybe your picture is in there somewhere. And I hope we'll be coming occasionally talking about all the activities that we have planned. But we hope to kind of make it a summertime celebration of 25 years. The other thing to mention is, you know, that Monday was the last day of our library director, and we had our regular board meeting that night, and I want to thank Candy for coming. even though it was Monday the day you were moving and was not, I'm sure Tammy had been fully invested in getting everybody moved here. She showed up at our library board meeting for the entire board meeting, so thank you very much. That was and I know Liz appreciated it too, so thank you for that. And then Megan, I think, will be presenting the regular report from the library, and I will see you in 2 weeks because it'll be National Library Week. So we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Thanks.
As Sandy said, Monday was Liz's last day. Otherwise, I wanted to highlight in March, Lily held baby time at the community center and had great turnout. It's just another way that we work to partner with the rec department. Christian held an after hours Just Dance party with the teens, which was a hit as always. And Michael hosted trivia night. We had 4 teams competing and it was tough competition. And then looking ahead, all of our staff are attending the corridor libraries training on April 6th, so we'll be closed and hopefully learning all kinds of new things with all the other Johnson County and some Cedar Rapids libraries. And then April 11th is the last Fun for All night of the season. So if you haven't been before, you should go to the community center. And the votes for Thursday will get you. And then, of course, as Sandy said, we are celebrating National Library Week later in the month. And then the puzzle competition comes on the 24th. So if you think you can assemble a 300-piece puzzle pretty quickly, you can sign up and join them. Thank you.
Thanks, thanks.
And I think there's pretty fierce competition during the puzzle competition.
And that takes item 10, public works report. Hand it over to the guys.
Start of the transition to new city hall, hopefully finish up in the next few weeks. Bathrooms are partially open. Splash pad bathrooms are open for Trailhead, Randall Park is open, and we are in the process of opening up the bathrooms by Ball Diamonds. We have some maintenance that was scheduled to finish up, so hopefully next week those are up and running and parks are all good. We also have new lights going up at the tennis court. Those were put on the poles today. We're looking to set the poles hopefully this week, so hopefully next week we got new lights to highlight the tennis courts till 10 p.m. Our new field groomer for the Parks Rec Department arrived. Everyone seemed pretty excited. We did a quick demo with the salesman that dropped off, and I know Brody was looking to get right out and use it. Looking ahead to opening of the splash pad. That maintenance will begin soon. We have a little bit of maintenance inside the pump room, a little bit of maintenance on the pool deck, and a couple features just from sun fading and harsh winter got our place. Once we get caught up with all our parks, restrooms, all that stuff for spring, we're gonna look to get our winter equipment cleaned up, put away for the season. That's it. Okay, thanks.
So he pretty much covered what we did. Done last week, that was all good. Getting some of my quotes back on some patching and sealing. And, working on getting baseball fields ready.
Did you hear back on the street sweeper?
I did, so 30-day like warranty, that's what they offer. For the service, they don't really do a service plan. So it's $2,500 per like year for them to come and just do a like PM or that 75 point. And then if we need to fix something, that's on top of that.
So it's probably not worth it.
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been worth it.
Yeah.
No.
Thanks for checking.
Yep. All right, water wastewater, all the houses on the First Street water line main project are now on the new line. We'd still a little bit of work, we're waiting for 2 good days without rain. To connect back into the Plum Street loop there, so we don't have a dead end. That'll take 2 good days of dry weather to finish that, but other than that
that project's wrapping up. Lucky the weather got pretty dry pretty fast, so we got to haul our sludge, so we're empty tanks. I know that doesn't mean a lot to you, but it's a stressful situation some years.
Makes your life easier.
It does, absolutely. Currently working with our tech group, ESCO to. We gotta take the water tower offline so they can do the work on it, so. Currently right now, everything runs off water tower level, tells the wells when to pump and when not to pump. We have to switch that over to the booster station to run on pressure. And that's a little bit of tweaking. Way above my pay grade, so that's why ESCO's involved in that. We know the basics of it, but there's a lot of computer numbers they gotta switch around to make that work, so there's no disruption with the service and. We can have that empty water tower and everything will still be fine. Other than that, we have, first round of testing for the water, the new employees and their water, grade 1. The first round of school, so then they're signing up for their test and that'll bring them. You know, the city requires everybody to have a basic knowledge of what goes on the water and wastewater side, just, you know, makes everybody's life easier. They at least understand it, so. Moving right along with that, so yeah, that's this week in water and wastewater.
Thanks, guys. Alright, gets us to item 11, city engineers report, the stage on.
Yes.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. Do a quick update on the wastewater plant project. So yesterday we dropped off 30% plans to the city. That's right on schedule. Give Cami and Dave a little bit of homework. Quite a thick set of plans for them to go through. Working on floodway mapping yet. We did an initial run on that. It looks pretty favorable. We were hoping that we could do some adjustment to the floodplain and floodway so we could capture as much of that property that the city had purchased for future use. And that's looking to pan out about how we expected. So still working to get that finalized, but initial runs are promising on that. Geotechnical work is being scheduled. They're about 6 weeks out is what they're telling us to come out and do the soil borings for the site. We're also working on finalizing the agreement with Eocene to do the environmental for threatened and endangered species and to delineate the wetlands. So they should be out here in about a month or so. We're working on getting some equipment arranged for sampling. We have to do a fairly intense sampling regimen in order to get the information we need to do the process modeling. So that's the next step in our design is to get that information and run through what we have laid out in the 30% plans after we have the meeting and commit to the plan that we have put forth. Also, outside of the wastewater plant, we've been working on a few submittals for site plans and a preliminary plat that just came through. And there are a few other miscellaneous items, agreements that I'm assisting Kevin and Cami with. That's my report.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Steve.
Takes us to item 12, city attorney report. Karen. That takes us to item 13, our proclamation this evening, Sexual Assault Awareness Month, April 2021. Whereas sexual abuse, sexual violence, and stalking affect anyone, including children, causing long-term physical, psychological, and emotional harm. And whereas seconds, an American is sexually assaulted, and every 9 minutes that victim is a child. And whereas approximately 70% of people affected by rape or sexual assault experience moderate to severe distress, a larger percentage than any other violent crime. And whereas sexual violence in rural communities exists as a hidden, silent, and often unrecognized crime that is often underreported, it's widespread and affect community members. And whereas through the inspiration, courage, and resilience of people affected by sexual violence in our communities are learning to better respond to the life-changing impact of sexual violence on individuals through fictional and their community. And whereas the DBIP and RDAP has worked to end violence and abuse for more than 45 years through the collaborative partnerships of staff, volunteers, local municipalities, criminal justice, health and human services, faith communities, business leaders, and private citizens. And whereas our community's achievements should be commended, and we must continue our commitment to respect and support those affected by sexual violence and to prevent future violence in our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the city of Solon, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2026 that Sexual Assault Awareness Month in Solon, Iowa, and urge all people to work together to eliminate sexual violence and sexual abuse and stalking from our community. That takes us down to item 14, public hearing on proposed amendment to the Solon urban planning area. Do we have a motion to go into public hearing? I'll move to go to public hearing. Second. Motion by Farley, by Becky. Farley, yes. Gordon. Kramer. Yeah. Mackey. Yeah. Morris.
Yes.
We are now in the public hearing. Yep.
All right, so the public hearing for this, urban renewal amendment is for, 3 projects. The urban renewal area is the area that allows cities to access TIF funding. So there has to be an urban renewal area. And then the properties within the area are eligible for TIF. What TIF is that you have your regular property tax that you pay. However, cities have the ability to access those property tax dollars and divert those towards special projects that meet 2 criteria. One is economic development, the other one's blight. So that's the essence of what an urban renewal area is. So what cities offer, like the city of Solon, is incentives, and also to businesses that are often for economic development, and also it is also an avenue for cities to pay for major projects. And so the 3 broad projects in this particular amendment are: 1, it is a forgivable loan for the RJZs, as we call it, and they had an E15 mandate that they had to adhere to, and they made a TIF request to the finance committee for $30,000. They actually made a request for more than that, but $30,000 is what was approved. Then we had another request from the Eat Shop owner, Cheryl Maloney, who's also here tonight, and that request was for a remodel, and the finance committee and council approved $25,000. These are both in the form of a forgivable loan. For the gas station, they have to obviously fully complete their building permit for the project and get a certificate of occupancy, maintain good business order, pay their taxes for the next 3 years, and then that is forgiven over a period of 3 years of 1/3. The Eat Shop is the agreement was formed around a certain minimum of hours that they would need to stay open over the next 3 years, and also maintain good business climate, pay taxes, stay open, that type of thing. The 3rd project has to do with the future Solon Recreation Center. And so this is for $10 million. And what this does is allow the city council to decide to potentially use TIF dollars toward the bond payments of a future recreation center. At this time, the city council has not decided where a community recreation center is going to go and how much it was going to cost, but we do know from our research of several other community centers in the area that $10 million was a number that was agreeable to put in the agreement. What this does is it allows the city council or a future city council, when that recreation center is built, to make the bond payments with TIF. Doesn't mean they will, but it's an option available. So the process right now on the community center, and pardon me, recreation center and community center are the same thing. And as what I'm talking, it is a future facility that's gonna house recreation activities for the city of Solon. The current one is called a community center. The future one we've been calling a recreation center. Right now, the city council has not decided where one would go, how they're gonna pay for it, what it's gonna look like. But they have been in the process, this council and the previous council, determining, is there an opportunity to build a recreation center privately through a private process, called a construction manager at risk process, or through a public process where it would be fully built under the scope of city requirements. Now, our city attorneys, Kevin Olson, and our bonding attorneys are working out the details and the options because the law changed recently. So it's taking a little bit of time to work through what the requirements are. The other thing is, the goal, as I understand it, is by the end of the year, this council plans to have made that decision. Get closer to either the private path or a public path, and work on securing some property in a future location. Sorry, my battery's looking like it's gonna die here. I don't want that to happen. Do you want to talk a little bit about
Sure.
the?
So kind of like Cammy outlined, there was a new process that was used maybe 1 or 2 years ago called the construction manager replacement. Most of the time, city projects or any governmental body does a public bid project where the city designs the building, put it out for bids, and any contractor can get the bid as long as they follow what the specifications are. That's the normal bid process. The construction manager at risk is basically, you go through a process to select a construction manager at risk at the end. The one thing with the construction manager at risk is that they have a guaranteed maximum price for your project. So that gives you cost control. When you have a publicly bid project, the bids can be wildly divergent depending on what you're doing here. That's one way to control the cost. It also helps control schedule and what the schedule for the contractor and how that's going to work. So what we're trying to work through now is if you have a construction manager at risk, you have to go through this process, and the construction manager at risk, what happens is the construction manager at risk, when you select them, they select all the subs and everything to go to do the project. They can self-perform some of the work themselves, but they select the subs and everything to do the project. So question about the private thing is, obviously, if you're using city funds, you have to follow one of these two processes, and we're trying to see if we can fit that process into how the council wants to go about achieving this goal of theirs. So, there's details about, whether a contractor will look at this, the formalities of the CMR risk, and whether that can work for us. Otherwise, you have to bid it out yourself, and you get the contractor you get, and your cost control can be a little, you don't get to say, okay, I don't want to do, after you bid, you don't start cutting stuff all out of bid. You have to reject and start over. So we're working with bond counsel on that, because obviously, if you're gonna use bonds to finance this, you have to make sure you're following these type of laws too. So we're finding a lot of roadblocks put up, but we're trying to find a solution to see if that's an option we can do, or whether we should tell the council that that's not an option. And then you'd have to go from there on the other option, the regular public bid.
One thing I want to add is, does it sound a little premature to have this in this urban renewal amendment when we don't know the details? Yes. However, our bonding attorneys have recommended that we go ahead and get the project in, because state legislation is changing around TIF, and it may limit the opportunity to have access to TIF funds for public facilities if there's legislation changes. So it's coming at the recommendation that from a city's perspective, it's best to have as many funding opportunities to help fund a project as possible, and TIF is just one of those. And that's why it's in the plan.
With that, it'd be similar to the bond with fire station where we could use TIF funds, we were using local option, but it allows the options to exist.
Yes. Yes.
Question makes sense?
And would we be able, would we still be able to use local option on it as well? I believe when we talk about projects in the future, we try and diversify how we paid for those projects, so we're not pulling it all from one coffer. Is that kind of?
That's true, because TIF works like this. We have your general fund property tax that we've talked about here tonight. But the more general fund property, the more TIF that a city asks for, the lower your general fund revenues are. And that's important because general fund funds your police, your fire, your streets, your libraries. So you can't ask for too much TIF, otherwise it's hurting your general fund. So cities are always trying to find that balance. And the Solon has been historically very conservative in their TIF requests because it's a balance there that you have to find. Yes, TIF is a great tool. However, it comes at a cost at some point. And that's why having an opportunity to cities can levy, they can add a levy onto this 1153 that's going to happen. They can add an additional levy for debt. They can use local option sales tax, they can use reserve, and they can use TIF. And so it's just trying to make sure there's as many funding options available as possible so that there's options, repayment options.
All right, with being public hearing, any questions, comments?
Well, obviously, I'm sorry, our point of view, that it affects our general fund also.
Sure.
And so, we just want you to be aware that then it may be helping some taxes here, but we may have to increase ours, so.
Two things. One, I would like to understand a little bit more about what that does to the current levy. So if we were to elect to use that, sounds like we're just at the option now. What does that do to that $11.53? You kind of had mentioned something about that in that we would have the option to increase taxes even more how does that work and how does that, I just don't know how that works. So that's my first question. My second, I guess, ask was, whatever route you go down with a contractor, my recommendation would make it as transparent as possible. The community really wants to hear what's going on, how dollars are being spent in a way that's really going to impact the community and benefit all that belong and the residents that are here. So whether you do a contractor at risk, private, whatever it is, I urge you to make sure that it's as transparent as possible when you do. So I don't know if that question can get answered or if it had.
I need to answer your second question, but like for your first question, but on your second one with the transparency for the contractor and stuff. When we did the fire station a few years back, and we had the change orders that came through for that, and we kind of grilled in the meetings, we really grilled the contractor that was doing the change orders, because it seemed like all of a sudden it seemed like they just started coming through more and more and more. And we're like, wait a second, and we kind of gave them a little pushback, just as we want to know what's going on and try to make sure that everything we put out there was on board as far as what was going on over there.
I would add on that, as long as I'm sitting here, if we end up in a big building like that, there will be additional accountability with whomever. The council did a great job, because I was intimately involved with the firehouse, of putting a hole on the contractor and all their good, I'll say it publicly, that some of their goofy change orders, we put a stop to, because it didn't make sense for what they were trying to do to us. And it was taxed out, period, and it was raised monies that I was intimately involved with. So as long as I'm sitting here, we'll make sure that things are done right.
Yeah, the school has some experience with both, so you can certainly.
I think we've
tap
all
into your
learned.
resources.
it's it's tax dollars, it's not. Oof.
That's right.
And some of those people that are involved in that line of business need to understand that. We made the people at the firehouse understand that quickly, including the architect.
Excellent.
As far as the first part of your question with the, how does it impact the general fund? Can we jump in if I start butchering this? At all, but it's, during the public hearing that we had for the budget itself, we talked about our evaluations are $191 million with that. If, say we went the tip route and we said it's $10 million, that evaluation piece would be reduced
Okay.
by that amount.
That's true. However, nothing's gonna happen in this FY 27 because this budget is already close to being approved. It would be a future budget that would be impacted.
So like whenever the, say it's 5 years, so whenever the valuations are 5 years from now, if it's, say it stays flat and say 191, that valuation would be reduced because that's not taxable for general fund, which would impact both the city and the schools general fund valuation of what should.
But as the costs of running the city continues to grow because of volume and people and such, and our programming continues to grow with the rec center and such, that's going to obviously have an impact on
Yes.
taxes. And so having that transparency throughout would be very beneficial.
Yes, I completely agree, but I would assume that it'd be very similar to like the leading up to some of the wastewater treatment plant meetings where it's whether it be articles, meetings, Scott and Kimmy did a video of the new location. It's, again, it's the more information we can get out, the better, but it was really great time. Other questions or comments? Sorry, the fifth project that we have. With that, can we have a motion to close the public hearing? Motion. Second. By Gordon. Motion by Gordon, second by Kramer, Arthur. Yes. Gordon. Yes. Kramer. Yeah. Becky. Yes. Morris.
Yes.
Excuse me, Mayor, we have folks here from DVIP. Would you mind doing a quick picture?
I just like that.
For the proclamation?
Yes.
Did you guys want to have a few words that you wanted to say or briefly? Okay, is that okay?
You have the Director of Domestic Violence Services for DVIP RVAP.
And I'm Alicia Backer and I am a sexual assault services coordinator.
So mostly we just wanted to thank you for your ongoing support. Without support from administrators and the cities themselves that we're handling the provide the work services that we do. In Johnson County, our advocates were able to provide services to 131 individuals for sexual assault. The 189 exams that advocates went to throughout the 8 counties that we serve in fiscal year 25. In total, there were
1,504 services provided.
that's specific to Johnson County, so. That was really all I wanted to say. Thank you for that support.
Next week on, no, it's, what day is that? Shop for Survivors will be April 18th, 9 AM to 2 PM at all the Hy-Vees, in the area.
And Fairway.
Oh, in the fair.
Thank you all. Leave some flyers, they'll have those dates. Sure. Sure.
Say auxiliary.
I was behind.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back there just because there's a little more light.
I say something. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Before we move into the whole business, we have a busy 3:30 from sheriff's update.
Nothing from us, sorry, I was late, there's a vehicle by stamps that lost the wheel. And then that.
Well, downtown.
No. Nothing from the.
I can see it. Takes us to old business, so item 15, ordinance number 44 of the county of vacation. This is on the third and final reading. Any changes after the second reading?
No, no changes.
Motion for the ordinance. I'll move to approve ordinance 494. Second. Motion by Farland, is that Mackey? Yep. Second by Mackey, Farland?
Yes.
Gordon? Yes. Kramer?
Yes.
Mackey?
Yes.
Morris? Yes. All right, take us to item 16, it's the ordinance number 495, ordinances of the city of Solon. Also a third and final reading, any changes after the second?
No, just wanted a reminder to council that after the third reading, all ordinances are published in local newspaper and then they become official.
I'll move to approve ordinance 495.
Second.
Motion by Farlinger, second by Morris. Farlinger?
Yes.
Gordon? Yes. Kramer?
Yeah.
Mackey?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
All right, takes us down to new business. Item 17 is resolution 2614 to approve the urban renewal plan amendment for the Solon urban renewal area. Any additional comments or outside of the public hearing or anything?
I don't have any.
Questions that we didn't? That's it. Yeah, motion for resolution 2614.
I'll move to approve resolution 2614.
Second.
Motion by Farlinger, second by Mackey. Farlinger?
Yes.
Gordon?
Yes.
Kramer?
Yeah.
Mackey?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Item 18, resolution 2615, authorizing the economic development renewable loan agreement with HWZ LLC and authorizing internal advance for funding of forgivable loan therein. Any additional question or comment on what we discussed?
Yeah, just a real quick one. The concern, the gas station, each shop, those are more like, I know we're using forgivable loan, but those are more of an abatement. Right?
So an abatement forgives taxes. So you don't even pay the taxes. This is a payment to help offset expenses related to their project.
Okay, so if they would go out of business in the next 2 years, they gotta
Pay it back.
Pay it back, or if they're not paying their property taxes, they gotta pay it back.
So it's forgiven a third each year. So if they're in business a year and then they go out of business, they pay back 2/3. If they go out of business 2 years, they pay back. So it's forgiven at the end of 3 years. So an abatement has to do with taxes. So we either rebate taxes or we abate taxes. If we rebate taxes, they go ahead and pay them, and then we would pay them, the city would pay them back for the taxes they paid. And abatement means that they're not even charged the taxes. The county doesn't even charge them. So a forgivable loan, rebate, and abatement are similar, but it just has to do about when and if they're even charged the taxes in the first place.
Thank you. And we've done a handful of different forgivable loans, and that helps with the project expense in the moment.
We have a list of those anywhere.
Yep, I have that. Yep.
I'll move to approve resolution 2615.
Motion by Farlinger, second by Gordon. Farlinger?
Yes.
Gordon? Yes. Kramer?
Yeah.
Mackey?
Yes.
Takes us to item 19, resolution 26 and 16. Authorizing economic development forgivable loan agreement with the Eat Shop LLC and authorizing internal advance for funding of 3 and 4 road thereunder. Questions for Tom on this one?
You lease that,
Mhm.
what's the building expansion now?
When we expanded on the light shop and expanded by 300 square feet. Yeah.
Other questions or comments? Discussion on that?
I'll move to approve resolution 2616.
Second. Motion by Arler, second by Kramer, Arler,
Yes.
Gordon. Kramer. Matthew.
Yeah.
Warren.
Yeah.
It goes to item 20, the fiscal 26, second quarter financial update.
Yeah, wanted to just provide an update to the council. This is a second quarter update as of December 30th. You're saying, yeah, that was a long time ago, but we've been a little busy with budget. And but still wanted to make sure that you could see where we were as of December 30th of 2025. You'll see on both the expenditure and the revenue reports that the first section is last year, and then you'll see the current year. So you can kind of see comparisons. What we like to see is, since that is mid-year, we like to, we like to see those 50% percentages just to make sure we're on track. But we also like to show a snapshot of last year versus this year. You'll see that the revenues as of December 1st, last year we had collected 45% of our revenue, and this year at December 31st, we've collected 49%. So those are good numbers we like to see, just to make sure we're going to hit all of our target budget. And then expenditures, as of December 31st, last year we had expended 61% of the budget expenditures, and this year we're at 64%. Still, those numbers are obviously in the similar range of what's typical business for a city. Not everything follows an exact, the expenses don't all come in monthly. We get property tax in large bulks twice a year. Expenses for come at those construction seasons. So you'll see higher bills at the end of the summer and then early summer. So you don't always see that. It's not always as clean as looking at a 12-month cycle. However, just wanted to give you a snapshot of that. It breaks down each fund, and really there's no concerns at the halfway mark. And we just closed out March. Yes, I mean, we're just at March 30th yesterday, so we'll be coming with that third quarter report here in early May.
Questions? Seems like it's pretty spot on from the previous year. Our goods.
No, just really far update.
Item 21, resolution 2617, setting a public hearing for the fiscal 27.
So this resolution will set the public hearing for April 22nd. It's a special meeting for the FY 27 budget. So it'll be both a public hearing similar to what happened here with the property tax, but also a resolution approving that budget, which is required to be submitted April 30th.
And that would we do at 5 p.m. as well as we've done past, or can it be part of the regular meeting?
There is not a regular meeting, that is a special meeting. And let me see what I have in the resolution. I think I have 5:30.
5:30. Okay.
Is 5:30 okay? Because okay.
We have a motion for resolution 2617.
Motion is for resolution.
Second.
Motion by Gordon, second by Parker,
Yes.
Gordon, Kramer?
Yeah.
Matt? Yes. Morris?
Yeah.
Takes us to item 22, resolution 2618, resolution approving the disposal of that 16-foot alley located between lots 3, 4, 5, and 6 in block 2, the Andrews Addition, Solon, Iowa.
So there's the three readings of the ordinance, which has been completed, and then there's the, this is the final step in that alley process.
So yeah, basically, so the alley's been vacated, so we're gonna take half the alley and basically we're gonna split it down the middle. The property owner on the north side will get the north half, property owner on the south half will get the south half. And then, this resolution basically just allows the mayor and the clerk to sign a quitclaim deed, so we can quitclaim those, two halves of the alley to the adjacent property owners.
Questions? Okay, welcome to resolution 2618.
So move.
Second. Motion by Morris, second by Gordon, Marvin? Yes. Gordon? Kramer? Yeah. Matt? Yes. Morris?
Yes.
It goes to other business. Any, big update on the Marys? I know we went through this, what, a week ago.
Yeah, not since the last
We've
meeting.
been a little busy since.
Yeah.
It takes us to item 24, the city clerk reports. Item 25, city administration.
We just wanted to thank everybody who made this meeting happen here tonight. Obviously, we're still in construction mode. But we're close. A lot of things are gonna be happening here in the next couple of weeks, and it was definitely a team effort, but a big shout out to Chris Richardson because he has spearheaded all the contractors and everything that's taken to get this project for us to be here tonight. And takes a lot to wire a building for today's technology needs that didn't exist when it was built. So it's taken a lot of coordination and a lot of everybody jumping in and helping. So thanks to Chris and thanks to all the city staff because it's been a team effort.
Well, I just want to thank you guys for all the work you put in to get this up and running and make it so we can have a meeting tonight.
Chris, when do you think? Done. First it says done. A couple weeks yet? Longer?
I mean, done, yeah, might be longer, but I hope 2 weeks from now, it's
Okay.
completely different.
Me too.
I was gonna say, Susie, yeah, how's it going for you over there? She's got a smile on her face, duly noted.
As far as mayor comments, just echo the same, I appreciate the support and the move, it's not a small task by any means here. Phones, internet, server, everything moved over, and just, work on it over, and all that you do to fire. So next, item 28, motion to adjourn.
No move.
Second by Morris, second by Harvey, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?